Good evening and most welcome to 1469 of the H series. We will today continue with Paul Johnston's Rethinking the Inner. And I will put the microphone on. Realized I just forgot that one. I will continue where we left off at page 54, the second paragraph. We'll be speaking about vision. And the last sentence before, our naive, normal way of expressing ourselves does not contain any theory of seeing. It shows you not any theory, but only a concept of seeing. And then we continue with the second paragraph of page 54. These examples illustrate the point that vision is not the simple concept of our philosophical preconceptions led us to believe, as our investigation of aspect perception, recognition, and other phenomena shows. Many types of visual concepts are possible. The apparent simplicity of the concept shatters. Instead, the concept, here's a quote, makes a tangled impression. Well, it is tangled. I look at the landscape, my gaze ranges over it. I see all sorts of distinct and indistinct moments. This impresses itself sharply on me. that is quite hazy. After all, how completely ragged what we see can appear. And now look at all that can be meant by description of what is seen. But this is just what is called description of what is seen. There is not one genuine proper case of such description. The rest being just vague something which awaits clarification, or which must just be swept away as rubbish. And no quote. Sorry. The example of seeing shows not that consciousness is full of ineffable experiences, but that our concepts have a complexity we tend to underestimate. The mystery of consciousness reflects our uncertainty and confusion in trying to make sense of concepts we use every day. The path to understanding, however, lies not in introspective analysis of the experience, but in careful exploration of the grammar of the concept. The key is to recognize the essential link between the inner and the outer. Between the experience and its manifestations. So where does this leave the idea of a world of consciousness? As we noted earlier, we tend to think of this world as a private realm made up of experiences, the paradigm of which is the mental image. Our discussion of vision, however, has shown that this is misleading, even with regard to the supposed paradigm case. Seeing something does not consist in having an inner picture. Rather, the individual sees something, and her description of what she saw provides the criteria for saying she had a particular visual experience. In fact, one might even argue that it is slightly odd to talk of experience here. For generally, when we ask someone what she saw, we do so because we are interested in finding out about the outer world. Not, and this is important, not because we have any special interest in what she experienced. One might therefore contrast seeing and other forms of perception with genuine experiences such as feelings and sensations. For in these cases our primary interest is indeed in what the individual experienced. Far from providing a paradigm for private inner experience, the case of vision underlines Wittgenstein's points about the role of the outer as the criteria for the inner. Furthermore, it undermines the idea that what we really experience is not the world itself, but a private replica of that world within us. There you have reductionism and the misconception of representationalism in a nutshell. By treating all experience as indirect, this claim abolishes the very distinction on which it is supposedly based. It ignores the fact that seeing, hearing, and feeling something for oneself is precisely what we call directly experiencing it. Someone who listens to the tales of the sea and imagines herself on similar adventures might be said to have an indirect experience of shipboard life. By contrast, there is nothing indirect about the experience of someone who admires a landscape. Her gaze is directed outward, not inward. The source of her admiration is the field itself, not some copy of that field within her. Against this, one might still claim that some of our experiences are indescribable and that no amount of words can convey their real content. Take colors, for example. Surely red is a specific experience and one which cannot be explained or described. What makes us want to say this, though? If we compare a colorblind person and someone who is not colorblind, we shall certainly say they have different visual experiences. However, the basis for saying this is not a comparison of what goes on inside them, but the fact that one can play a game which the other can't. Learning the game involves learning to distinguish between objects in terms of the public paradigm of red, and someone who can do this will be said to know the difference between having an impression of red and having an impression of some other color. It's a complete misconception to say that when we ask someone what that person's seen or heard or felt or known, that we're actually looking for the inner experience in that person. It doesn't make much sense. We are looking for something in the outside world. It can still be that the questioner and the one being questioned are uncertain of what is the case, but it doesn't really matter. It just cannot be about inner experiences, the true origin of the happenings. The thing that leads to the doubling of reality, an experience of an outsideness that becomes an insideness. And then we have to make a connection in between the two, and infinite regress will await around the corner. either an inside infinite regress, where there is sort of a cinematic screen inside of the head, and then we wonder who sees that screen. It is another person, the self, and what is inside the self, the homunculus, leading to an infinite amount of homunculi. Going outwardly, we will come into exactly the same infinite regress. What causes the outside? Is it the surface? Is it 1 millimeter in? Or is it the whole way, the complete mass? And where on earth is the center of the object? It never ends. We go for the atom, the quarks, the mini quarks, and so on. And we also discussed that perception are different things, and some things are not even perception. Perception is a seldomly used word, or a seldomly used, so to speak, question phrase. We so very seldom ask what a person experienced in that weird inner way. Of course not in a murder trial or a police investigation. What did you experience inside of yourself? Doesn't make sense in any everyday discussion. And we know that there is a whole array of things where we just clumsily smack the word perception, overuse it to a crazy extent, I would say. Well, it's rather late here. I say thank you very much and have a very pleasant night. Bye bye for now.